This is my first ever YouTube video. So, of course, no, I'm not even going to say, of course. You know what? Let's just try and find out if there's going to be any stutters, or let's see if I'm fluent as I think I am. The main point that I want to talk about in this YouTube video is how when ideas come to you, you need to act upon them immediately. Ideas are a fleeting thing. Ideas are kind of a thing that is divine because it is given to you by a higher power outside of you. So then when first YouTube video, I have no plan, I have no format. This is straight just shooting from the hip. Let's see if I am as fluent as I think I am. Looking at myself right in the camera. Let's go. Just coming straight off my mind right here. Creativity is not real because creativity is only a myth. Creativity is a word that has been desensitized. There is no meaning to that word anymore. It's vague, it's saturated. There's nothing to that word anymore. Creativity is no longer real because many people try to think. And the more you try to think, the more you think of nothing at all. So when you try and think of these things, especially when you're trying to focus or when you're trying to create something new, it has to come in a flow. You can't just think about it. It has to come naturally to you. It has to come to you in a daily situation. Something you can't point out. It's just something that God has given to you. Something that you have called upon for. And it could be consciously, it could be subconsciously, it doesn't matter. We're not going to get that deep into it. But true creativity is shooting from the hip. And if you don't know what that means, I'll tell you right now. Shooting from the hip is just literally shooting from the hip. You're thinking of nothing at all. It's just a form of doing. It's an art of doing. And when you're shooting from the hip, what does that mean? It means you're authentic because you have nothing to think about. You're automatically doing what you're doing. You don't have a thought process behind it. It's just your subconscious operating into the real world, into it's manifesting itself into its physical form. So authenticity is actually your true creativity because the things you do naturally are who you really are. And if you do the things who you really are already, what does that mean? That is your creativity. You're putting yourself into the world. You're putting yourself not just into the world, but into energy. You are energy. Your body is full of energy. Your mind is full of energy. And too many times now, especially in the world we live in where technology and it's digital nomads everywhere, it takes away your authenticity as a whole because you're consuming so much of what you're not supposed to. And when you're consuming too much of what you're not supposed to, you become someone who you're not. You become an imitation of other people. And if you're not self-aware of these things that are being inputted into your mind, you start to develop a whole another person inside of you and you start to operate from that. You have to be conscious about what you're putting into your mind because your mind is not only just the mind, your mind is literally what you operate on as a human being. It's something that can be so powerful, but that something that can also be so negative at the same time. I have these books right here behind me. I don't know if you see them. Well, I don't know if you see them. My fault. Of course you see them. I am aware of what information these books have. I can skim through it. I can read the title, anything. I am aware of what I am consuming, and it is making me more knowledgeable. Because it's something that I can actually implement into my own world with my own twist. And one of the books over here, it's somewhere over here. I don't know. It's somewhere over here. Teeny tiny book. Speaks about how great artists steal. No. Sorry. Let me restart that. Excuse me. Good artists steal, great artists copy. And the thing about this is that perception can be used and generalized as so many different things. There is no real thing. There's only perception. But what I take from this is that you may be a good artist. You may blow up off of someone else's idea. But if your idea is good enough, no one else is going to take it because they don't understand it. And what he meant, in my opinion, in my perception, of great artists steal and implement their own authenticity to what they like. It could be something that they use in their daily lives, and then something that could also be fixed because it came to them naturally. They didn't have to think about it. It came to them like, oh shit, wait, I have this idea. Why don't I use it? And once you don't do anything about that idea, it's gone. It's gone. If you don't put it in your notes app or anywhere where you can see it again, it's fucking gone. And ideas are so powerful because ideas only come once every blue moon. Well, depending on how you think. I think ideas come to me every day because I just attract them, obviously. But I'm not trying to sound too egotistical, even though it does. But whatever, we're not going to get too deep into that. It's something Nikola Tesla said, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure the exact quote, but he said, if you don't operate on the idea that you get on an instant, someone else will get that idea. And you probably felt that feeling before where you thought about doing something and then like a week later or days later, you see someone doing the exact same shit and was like, what the fuck? I literally thought of that. You need to understand the power of what you have. You have so much power dwelled within you, and you don't even understand it. You're so distracted. You're too busy consuming these things that don't matter to you, that don't benefit you or your life in any fucking way. You need to devote yourself to a greater cause outside of yourself and understand what situation you are in right now and what you can do to use it to your advantage to propel you in a different situation, a situation you actually desire to be in. And you gotta change the way you think always. I understand that I'm already wealthy, even though I'm in a small apartment. I'm barely starting out. I'm barely producing. I'm barely understanding these things. I do it because I understand that my future self... Okay, that's just fucking cliche and corny. Fuck that. Fuck my future self. I have what the fuck I have already. Time just needs to catch up, and I live by that shit. I have what the fuck I have. No, I have what I desire already. Time just needs to catch up. And in that simple quote, in that simple terminology, everything can change in your fucking life. All it takes is one switch of your perspective to enjoy your fucking life, to change your life. Understand that life isn't about seeing what life is. We don't see the world as what the world is. We see the world as who we are. And so if we think of ourselves as these negative people or as this negative person, I mean, because I'm speaking in solo terms, if we think of ourselves as negative, shy, lazy, we are subconsciously manifesting ourselves into the world. You can't change the view you have on yourself. Obviously, other people can influence that, but other people see in you what you see in yourself. And in reality, the world is just a mirror, honestly. I'm not worried who sees this video. I'm not worried about who watches this video. In 3 years, 5 years, whatever. I know one day I will look back on this fucking video and be like, damn, I fucking changed my way of thinking so much just from my experiences, all thanks to God. Just doing this already makes me feel proud of myself because I'm putting myself in front of a camera and I'm speaking. It's not something I would normally do, but it's something that is in my path. So obviously I have to walk the path. And any path I walk is the correct path, otherwise I wouldn't be walking it. Everything I have is meant for me. Everything in my hands was meant to be in my hands, otherwise I would never have it. So I live with no regret. I don't live with worry or fear. I understand everything that comes to me was meant for me. Everything that I desire and it isn't in my hands yet, it's not meant for me. But I understand the tough things that come to me were always meant for me. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to have them. God knows I can take whatever I can that is given to me, and that's why he gives me these things. You just have to be intellectually strong. You have to be strong in your head and your fucking body, physically, mentally, spiritually, All these things just come down from one pillar, and from one pillar comes everything else. God is number one. No matter what, God is number one. God can give, God can take. God gives wisdom, God takes wisdom. You have to live with a fear. And obviously I fear God, and I don't fear anything else, but my humanity fears these things that I don't want to be in. Like a 9 to 5, and I'm not saying it's terrible. Of course we need 9 to 5s. It's amazing. Opportunities are amazing. But I myself personally don't want to work for someone else. I've worked a job before and I hated it. I hated that I could be replaced in just a week. I hated that. Okay, hate is a strong word. I'll use disliked. My bad, I'm running out of. You can definitely hear my voice is being raspy, so let me drink my entrepreneur water. Back to where we were. I disliked that I was working a 9 to 5. I disliked working for someone else. I disliked the fact that I could not control my time. I disliked the fact that I could not control how much money I make. I disliked that someone else who was not God was in control of my life and how I lived it. That's not ideal. That's not something any man should live for. You have a purpose, and I fear God. And my humanity fears these things, these fucking 9 to 5s, these jobs. And what do I do that with? Like, what do I use this fear with? What do I use this fear for? I use it for my fucking ambitions and for my dreams. Because I know I don't want to be back there. I would rather be doing the shit I do right now than be working another fucking 9 to 5. Another job. Dealing with a shitty boss. Dealing with fucking... What do you call it in English? My bad, I'm Mexican too. What do you call it? Gossip in the fucking workplace. Man, I'm not gonna be fucking all negative about my experiences and everything. Obviously I'm thankful for them. It shaped me into the man I am right now, and if I never worked the job I would never be able to have the wisdom about what I'm speaking to you about right now. But I use this fear knowing that my success is not 100% guaranteed in the world, to propel me forward into the desires I want to live in. Obviously, it's my first YouTube video. I'm not really being really meaningful with each one of my words. My goal here was not to stutter or take too long when I'm speaking. Just let my thoughts flow. Just let my ideas flow. Honestly, my purpose here was just to create. I don't want to be consuming as much anymore. It's annoying. But I'm here right now. I'm here for a purpose, and whoever sees this video, I love you. I truly do. And I appreciate you. But I'm here to create, baby. And I fear God, and I fear nothing else. This will be embarrassing, but who didn't get embarrassed? I would rather be the man in the arena than be the man in the stands. Here we go. Let's go.